take your hat off, please? That's what the Championship does to you. He's the same age as me.
Oh. Arsenal now is a fashion brand. You have more fucking kits than you have trophies over the last 20 years.
Yes. Ask the question, Ben.
I agree with him, man. I agree with him.
I am Dutch, an Arsenal fan, and this is Midnite Boxed In. Today I'm going to make a statement, and these fans are going to argue against it. I'm going to tell you not to go easy on me, but you're probably not. No. Which kind of goes into my whole point. My statement is that Arsenal Football Club and our fan base is hated out of insecurity and jealousy. Throughout the football pyramid. Go on, sit down.
Should we all scramble to get to the chair?
Of course, Kim.
Like a coiled fucking spring.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm Kim and a Man City fan.
It's perfect, isn't it? So, my point stems from, we as a football club, Arsenal, have always been known for being classy. We've always done everything with a touch of class. We've always been... we've always been ahead of the curve. We modernised the English game. We're one of the breakaway clubs that form the Premier League. And there's always been a little bit of... We've been seen as a snob... It's a bit of snobbery around us because we do things the proper way. There was no petrodollars that built our club. We didn't cheat. We've never cheated. We've never been corrupt. We've done everything by the book, and we've done it with class. And all of our players, like a lot of our players, have made the Premier League what it is. But for some reason, you lot hate us. Look what we've done for you.
What exactly?
Look what we've done. Look what we've done for you. When we were making the Premier League, where were Man City and who were they? We've set the blueprint.
What you've done for us is you've given us Samir Nasri, who didn't win the league with you, won the league with us. You give us players.
Yeah.
You give us your best players. And you allow us to drop off our worst players and our little coaches to have you.
Yeah.
After they've won trophies at us, they just toddle onto you and win absolutely fuck all.
No.
The reason that Arsenal are disliked is got nothing to do with insecurity. What would I be insecure about? What can I be insecure about?
Because what you've won isn't your own. You've not done it the fair. You ain't earned it the right way. The 115 charges makes it. It's not. It's not authentic.
Listen to me. I was born 5 minutes away from Main Road. I've grown up my whole life being a Man City fan.
Yeah.
At one point, I was genuinely just so buzzing that we'd stayed in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Then, as I grow older, I see my team win every single trophy under the sun. I get to follow my team all over England, all over Europe, winning trebles. Do you really think that I give a single shite how we have done it, or whether we've done it with class or grace or decorum, when that club has given me the greatest moments of my entire life?
You're rattled, though.
No, I'm not rattled.
Because every single time I mention 115, every City fan starts telling me about the times they were in League Two and whatever else. I don't
care about the charges.
Yeah.
I care about my memories. Being a football fan is about memories.
115 to 9 out of 10 City fans, they lose the plot.
Football is about memories. That's a fact, right?
No,
we can all agree with that. 100%. It's about memories.
And I've Arsenal Football Club not got great memories.
No, of course you've got great memories, but you're arguing that the only reason that people hate you is because we're insecure about our own clubs.
Yeah,
there's nothing,
I think
there's nothing for me to be insecure about. Yeah. What could I be insecure about? I get to go to Istanbul and I get to sit there on a row with all of my family, all of my friends, my old barber who I've grown up with. You go to Arsenal nowadays, you ain't sitting with anyone you've ever seen before.
That's a myth.
Arsenal now has become, Arsenal now is a fashion brand that has a football club attached to it. You bring out new football kits every week. You have more fucking kits than you have trophies over the last 20 years.
Yes.
And that's a
Everyone
fact.
has. Every club has.
And that's
every club's trying to do that.
Brother,
so are we going to take the commercialism of football?
Right.
Okay,
let's talk. Let's take stats off the table, right?
Yeah.
Let's just take human experience. Has anyone here watched a football game or been in the pub near London when Arsenal have been playing? Probably, yeah. Do any of them have anything to do with North London or Highbury? No. They're all these southerners from Surrey who come, Ruperts with their retro 70s kits on, that they bought 30 quid down there. It's not a myth.
But I know it's not the same, but if you go down the Cali Road or Angel, Holloway, there is exactly. You can't tell me there is not real Arsenal fans. I've got a cousin, I've got a little nephew who goes to school in the area. Every single kid wears an Arsenal shirt. This is a myth. There is a real core fan base in and around the club. And we look after that community as well.
A small core fan base.
Because, and this is the other thing, most casual football supporters, if you don't really have a football club, Arsenal's a cool club to follow. You can't deny that. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because most people...
Because it's a fashion statement.
Yeah.
It's moved away from football.
It's
moved away from football.
Does brands not matter in football? That lasts. The Arsenal brand, it goes back to, right to the 30s with Cliff Buston, right through till now with Arteta and what we did with Wenger, that is a brand that is going to be here forever. I'll be honest, if you lose that court case, everything that's happened with Pep, Everything that happened before that with Pellegrini, what happened before that with Mancini, is looked over and it's a dark shadow that's casted over that. That will never happen with Arsenal Football Club.
First of
ever.
all, it ain't gonna happen. Hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
First of all,
we've got a lawyer here.
First of all, the 115 is not gonna happen. Second of all, your argument.
We got that on record.
I'll say it anywhere and everywhere.
All right,
it ain't gonna happen. Second of all, your argument is that people hate Arsenal only because they're insecure, which completely negates how incredibly annoying your fans are for every single fan base. Everyone would agree with it, though. Yeah. Everybody would agree with it. Apart from Arsenal fans, everyone would agree that you have a massive chip on your shoulder because you think you're bigger than you are, but you haven't backed it up over the last few decades. You haven't won anything. You've got incredibly gobby fans. Yeah. The vast majority of your fans at the moment, all they care about is the appearance of being an Arsenal fan. There's no history there. There's no love there. There's no familial connection. You walk down to the Emirates now, everyone's in there exactly the same kit that Arsenal have just released. You know, and you know I'm right, and you know I'm right, and you know I'm right. Because it's not proper football. It's not proper football.
Who defines what proper football is?
It's not proper football. I'll tell you what proper football is. I'll tell you what proper football is.
It's your definition.
I'll tell you what I think proper football is. My team gets a load of shit for having empty seats, right? Yeah. My team goes down to League Two, and we have an average attendance of 32,000. Yeah. Your team, when I went to watch them in 2019, when you were 5th in the league, we beat you 3-0, and there was a third full stadium. Then Arteta comes in. Then Arteta comes in. You start winning a couple games, and everyone's North London forever. Yeah. North London forever. You're from South London. Make it make sense. What's the authenticity? What's the class there? I don't care. You can't say forever if it's not forever.
I lasted quite long now, didn't I? To be fair. Oh, well, we got someone else coming. Am I done?
No, you're not fucking done.
Oh, well, for fuck's sake.
He's insecure.
He actually doesn't believe.
Cheers, Brendan, thank you. I'm Louis, and I'm a Chelsea fan. John, I've never heard so much shite in my life, mate.
Listen to a Win Stanley statement. If you want to hear a shite.
I listen to it every week, so I know what shite looks like.
Exactly.
I know plenty of statements, and I see a load of shite. We're not insecure because of X, Y, Z. We're not insecure.
Right. You've won, you'll never beat Arsenal. In terms of the biggest club in London, you could win 15 Champions Leagues and you'll never be the size of Arsenal Football Club.
That's fine, you don't know the feeling. It's all good, don't worry about it. I was there in Baku as well, because that was your biggest night out in like 22 years. Got battered by Olivier Giroud, who won a trophy with Chelsea. So
what's that got to do with one
you made a very good point, actually. Let me just expand on that quickly. Players that leave Arsenal to win trophies, and we give you our dregs.
What's that got to do?
Hang on, I'll tell you why. So, Ashley Cole, sick of Arsenal, pathetic little club.
Invincible.
Good for him that he left and went and won more with Chelsea.
Still loves our club more than yours.
Don't think he does,
Got
mate.
that on record.
Do you? Well, where from?
From the countless podcasts he does at the moment.
Ashley Cole?
If we go...
Ashley Cole doesn't have a podcast.
Find
it for me, please. Thank you.
Ashley Cole has made it pretty clear over the years that Chelsea is the club that...
Oh,
have that!
Mate, all right,
Why? No, but you can't listen. No, but you can't call him Cashley Cole. You said he loved Arsenal so much. My point's just been reinforced. You know how he said that people don't like Arsenal fans because of insecurity? It's because they make ludicrous statements like that. They talk about Ashley Cole being invincible and being fantastic 1 minute ago, and a minute later you're calling him Cashley Cole because he went to another club and did better. Listen, just because you lot are bitter, don't get lemon, John. Don't get lemon. It don't suit you. All right.
At the end of the day, as well. Jesus Christ.
Tell him to spell it.
At the end of the day, right? Players leave Arsenal because it wasn't a very well-run club. I know that because I know that because we're in the position you were in for the past 10 years.
All right.
Right. So I've seen both sides of the coin now.
So,
right?
so you're saying right now we're in a better position?
I'd say right now.
Are we a well-run club now?
I'd say you're a better run club now. Absolutely.
Okay,
the table says so. That's fine.
But
however,
without cheating, by the by.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. You know how you said Arsenal have never cheated, and you can check this by the way as well.
Mate, don't take George Graham.
I'm not talking about George Graham. I'm going further back. You said you should never have been relegated. Actually, Arsenal bought their way into the league in the 30s, and it kicked Spurs out of the league. Yeah. So Arsenal saying all this sort of stuff.
We did that because it's Spurs though, and we all love that. It's different. With Spurs, we're allowed to do it.
But this is the point. This is why people find Arsenal fans intolerable. It's the constant shifting of the goalposts.
Do you feel like Arsenal modernised English football or played a massive role in doing that? Is that not fair?
Absolutely.
So where is that? Why is that forgotten about when we frame Arsenal Football Club and where we've taken the league and the respect we have throughout the world?
I want to go.
Where you want to come on?
I want to come.
Yeah, go on.
My name's Nicky. I'm a West Ham fan. I don't hate you.
Oh, thank you, mate.
That's your point done. I don't hate you. Why don't I hate you? Because I'm not jealous of you. You go on and win whatever you want. I'm a West Ham fan.
Okay.
I don't hate you, Arsenal. Don't hate you whatsoever. You try to force rivalries with the Declan Rice. We took your best player.
Oh, yeah.
Who gives a shit?
No, you did that.
No, mate.
I'll tell you now, there was I don't know if it was RCF or whatever he was called at the time. When we signed Declan Rice, it wound you up because the whole narrative behind that from a lot of your family. See, this is the problem because people make narratives based on what a couple people say, and that speaks for the whole fan base. So I know with you probably don't care. But there was loud West Ham fans that were saying you're going to go there and win fuck all, right? So far, they've been right so far.
What have you won? Hold on a minute.
Hang on. But I'm not going to allow that person or them few fans to speak for you. But this is what I'm saying. If you go and speak to Arsenal fans, all jokes aside, I've given it the big end. We don't all think like that. Like, we are proud of our football club and we have done things the right way.
I'm not saying you're not proud of it, but you're saying everyone hates you. There's nothing to hate. Yeah. There's nothing to hate. You're saying you're jealous of. What are we jealous of? Jealous of winning nothing. We've won more than you in the last 5 years.
Okay. So my point is, this is exactly that. My point is, if we, at the moment, if there was any other club, why does everyone want City, would rather City win the league? I think that's a fair...
I don't think that's jealousy. I think that's just nonsense from your fans, I'm afraid. And I feel as though
it's weird that we want a team that has been clearly cheating, right? And that even in the okay, but even still, full of petrol.
They missed it. Hold on. They missed it last year. They absolutely messed it up, right?
Yeah.
You was meant to be the one that win the league. Who won the league? Not you.
It weren't us. No, you're right.
Why?
No. We did.
Why can we hate people
that do things properly,
that bottle it every year? We don't
See,
hate.
That's the thing, the bottling. Mate, every single season, 20 teams play in this league, right? You finish in second, and this is the whole thing about this, like, everything's about a trophy, everything else. To finish consistently in title races, it took Klopp a while to get there. It took Pep a while to win the Champions League.
No one cares.
No one cares. That's what I'm saying. But anyone else, no one was saying this about Liverpool when they kept coming close, getting close to titles and not making it.
But you said it about Tottenham. Every year.
Yeah, but it's Tottenham, no one likes Tottenham.
So you hate Tottenham for what reason?
Mate, because they're Tottenham. That's an age-old rivalry.
Go on.
Dev. My name is Dev and I'm a United fan. And the thing is, what we've all kind of expressed here along the table is, well, first of all, social media exists in a bit of an echo chamber.
Yes.
So I'm going to say, when we were top, like, everyone wanted us to lose. And that was a fact. Of course it was, because Sir Alex mind games and the playing with the ref. And even I'll admit there was intimidation at Old Trafford. I'll admit that these things went in our favour because those things are true. And in the echo chamber, I could have said everyone hated us. And when Liverpool were winning it, I couldn't stand them. And I wanted them to lose more than anything. It's the thing with you guys is that I actually have a lot of respect for Arsenal Football Club as an institution, as I hope you would have respect for Manchester United as a football club. You might not as a rivalry, just respect footballing respect, like I have respect for Real Madrid or a different team.
Yeah, but the thing is, let you down a lot recently.
Yeah, but the thing is, with the way that you've acted, it isn't so much that I now have an antipathy for Arsenal Football Club and what you've stood for and things like that. It's this delusion of grandeur that somehow you are being owed certain aspects of success despite not actually being able to back that up. Because we're not the ones saying, no one expects Arsenal to win the league. You guys expect Arsenal to win the league. And then when you don't, you get on at us.
What's reasonable here? Like, it's a very unique position we're in, right? When you go for the title, it's good. If this season, if we do finish second, it'll be unprecedented, right? What would a fan base, which has won 13 league titles and have been desperately close, getting bantered by everyone else, how would you act? That's what as United fans, if you're in our position, bear in mind, you've not got close to a league now 13 years now. We just got to a Champions League semi-final. You ain't done one of those for 15 years. If you get this close, this many times, and you're used to, this is in our blood, it's in our DNA, we've won 13 league titles, would you not be desperate? And how would that manifest and how would that present itself as a normal human being?
No, I understand. I understand with that.
So
but at the same
that's
time,
the nuance
I completely get what you're saying, and I do largely agree that if other fans were in your circumstance, they're not going to be looking back and saying, guys, like, let's all calm down. There will be the excitement that will spill over, and it will come into whatever it is. But the excitement of not actually winning anything, but getting so close and bottling it at those final hurdles has reached to a point where the excitement has bubbled over that you've kind of, the thing that you said earlier at the beginning of your statement was what Arsenal have been famous for, what they've done, how they've built themselves. I don't think we've forgotten that. I think you've forgotten that. I think that certain Arsenal fans and certain people in Arsenal, when I'm hearing your striker talking about dry pitches, when I'm hearing about your reliance on set pieces, when I see you spend this money and you want set pieces and you want a 16-year-old to bail you out of trouble, when I'm seeing all of that, and I actually know, like, I know my football history. I know what Arsenal have done from the 30s. I know what they've done from the 80s and the awkward stuff with Graham, but I know with Wenger and I know with David Dean. I understand what Arsenal have done as a football club, but you have forgotten that because when you were one of the first to get to this new stadium, and then once you got there, another things kind of came into your reckoning, and then success kind of fell by the wayside because finances and things. You then got to a point, okay, steady foundations, you build it, you've got there, you got so close. But instead of being the ones to say, okay, no, we got to go get it now, it's going to be our time, it's going to be this. I have half of your fans, again, social media is an echo chamber, half that will say, we're not going to win it because you almost want to play it against. And then there's another half that will say, you have to win it. And you two are playing against each other, and you're confusing the narrative. It's not us. Arsenal fans are the ones confusing everything. We're the ones stopped by and are just pointing out the facts that you haven't won anything yet. That you might never win anything.
I kind of hear you though.
Yeah.
You made a good point.
But that's what I'm saying. Again, like it's awkward because I'm not one of those fans. I'll laugh at you, of course, just as much as you would laugh at all of us.
Of course, yeah.
But it's not that I'm doing it because it's Arsenal. I'm doing it because the fans have reached a zenith point where it's almost as if some are acting like you've won things, but you haven't done that. So we've been more successful in terms of titles than winning, but this is our banter period. Yeah. And I'll admit that we've been disgraceful. We're 15th last season. I have no right to talk to you about that.
There's a fans in our position. Even last night, you qualify for a Champions League semi-final, which isn't an easy thing.
No, of course not.
And there's teams that will never even play in the Champions League bantering us, and that's hard to. No, it's exactly. hard to. Can
I ask you a question? When at the beginning again. Echo chambers. It's a bit of a phrase I keep throwing about. But at the beginning of the season, when like you sign Gyökeres, and you see fans doing this and they're running all this,
excited for a new big signing.
Of course, but I was there at the first game, like when he played against us, and he hasn't caught fire the way that you would have thought, and I don't think he will for reasons that we've spoken about. But but the thing is, that is a microcosm of what is all we can see, because the loudness is gonna come from when you're in a title race and all the eyes are on you. I will know this because we've been in many, and in growing up we were in that. Everyone wanted us to fall off. So when we did screw up, people would come at us, and when we were saying stupid things, Sir Alex has said stupid. He said Chris Smalling could have been killed, or Phil Jones could have been killed when a ball hit his head. Stupid things happen, and I remember how those things happened. But we had the presence of mind, either as a fan base or a club, to accept that and be like, no, we're Man United. Ignore that now. No more noise. Let's focus on it. You add more. Your fans in your club, you add it onto it. So it's like you're not helping yourself in the argument and kind of making it our fault when it's not.
So you're talking when you were in title races, there was no X, there was no Facebook, there was no TikTok. Do you think you would have dealt with it any differently to us? And we don't know. No. This is what I'm saying.
I'll be honest. Like I'm not exactly like. There's certain parts of the Man United fan base I'm definitely not proud of, and that's what. And I think if we were, with the greatest of respect, we're a bigger club than Arsenal. We are.
Yeah, no, that's
so if we were that success and we then bring in social media, yes, absolutely, we would have been unbearable if we were the same. I totally understand. That doesn't negate the fact that you are unbearable, and the reason we don't want you to win isn't because of the fact that you're so good and we're insecure.
Do you know
it's
what?
the fact you're insecure and you're telling us that we are.
But can I say one thing? Fair play. When we win, that all changes. Ooh. So when we do win, it all changes. So what I'm saying is, it makes sense. If you lot are annoyed by us, you should be cheering us on to win the title, because once we win, that's gone.
No. It'll get so much worse. Get him off.
Get off. Jesus Christ.
Hi, I'm Kim Qatari, a Man City fan. My statement is, John Stones is the greatest ever centre-back in Premier League history.
Kim,
Premier League.
Do this for me. Just do this. I just wanted to see if you got eyes only.
So, first of all, make your case, because I don't think it's fair to make mine and then yours. You've said the statement, so make your case.
I think there are lots of different ways in which you can argue about a player's greatness.
Yeah.
I think trophies is one of them.
100%.
John Stones has 6 Premier League titles. He's won the treble, 2 FA Cups.
Yep.
I think individual performances and moments is one. He was man of the match at centre mid in a Champions League final. There's almost nothing better than that for a centre back to be able to do. I think legacy is another one. I think it's agreed with certain people, offset as well, that John Stones has basically completely transformed what it means to be a centre back.
Right.
And I think eye test is another one. And I don't think I've ever enjoyed watching any defender, left back, right back, centre back, as much as I've enjoyed John Stones. And I think all of those four added up. I think there are other players out there, like John Terry, for example, who will have the leadership, he'll have the trophies, but I don't think he's got the legacy, and I don't think he's got the same transformative effect on football. Rio Ferdinand, I think, probably passes the eye test, probably maybe passes the transformation test, but I don't think he was as good as John Stones.
Well, this is the thing. When it comes to the actual figures, like, it is a difficult argument to make because we're going to be splitting hairs a lot of it when it comes to the figures of it. I think for me, the one important factor that we might have missed out a bit is context. So it's not specifically with John Stones to discredit him, let's say. I think my argument will always be Rio Ferdinand, and I'll also throw in John Terry and I'll throw in a few other players because context for me is everything when it comes to this. And when Rio Ferdinand came into the Manchester United team, that wasn't a Manchester United team that was geared for success at that time. We were off the treble, and we'd gone through a point where we went through international transfers. We sold Jaap Stam. We got my favourite player, Ruud van Nistelrooy, but we also had Diego Forlan, Sebastian Veron. We weren't set up for that. We had to kind of go back to basics and get things right again. And it was Rio Ferdinand who was one of the main solidifiers in the spine of Manchester United that took us from one era to the next. And I think what is key with him is, you mentioned also some of the aesthetics and all that. Really, we're going to come down to personal preference. You'll always prefer John Stones. I'll always prefer Rio Ferdinand. But I will also say aerial ability. I'll say leadership. I'll say making other players around him better. I'll say coaxing the best out of his fullbacks. I think Rio Ferdinand takes that in every metric.
Can I just respond to what you just said, though, which is about changing of an era?
Yeah.
First of all, John Stones was Pep Guardiola's first signing. The defenders that we had the season before and the defenders that we had alongside John Stones at the beginning, we had Bakary Sagna and Alexander Kolarov at centre-back.
We had a 35-year-old Lauren Blanc and Mikhail Silvestre and Gary Neville playing centre-back.
Our greatest ever period, we would all agree, has been under Pep Guardiola. John Stones was his first signing. He wanted him more than anyone else because he knew that John Stones could be a linchpin in that side. Another massive argument, which I always make when I talk about John Stones, is how much better he makes everyone else look around him. Harry Maguire was in the World Cup Team of the Year, the team of the World Cup or whatever, because he was next to John Stones. Ruben Diaz, a lot of City fans won't like this, has been stealing individual awards because he's been next to John Stones. Every single player who plays next to John Stones is way, way better than they are. That's why Harry Maguire is 1,000 times better for England than he is for Man United. That is a fact.
Well, it's not just that, though, is it? Because, I mean, there's a lot of context with Maguire, but that's different because his time at United is completely different to perception and his time at England. But I think when I'm talking about the Rio Ferdinand instance, you're right in terms of like what he's done at City and how he's come through that era. But also, Serrano and Cheeky, like they ended up getting like De Bruyne as like a welcoming present for him. So it's not as if it was a tough gig to come in at Man City. And like he's done brilliantly. I'm not discrediting what he's done. But at the same time, the era that Rio Ferdinand came into as a relatively young player, just Stones was young as well at the time. But I think to come into Manchester United with the legacy of the fact we'd won the treble 3 years earlier, and with the legacy of dominating the 90s, of only not winning it in 2 seasons, otherwise we would have 5-7 in a row, and doing all of that, and then coming in and being that person who was the most expensive defender when he went the first time to Leeds, and the most expensive to come from Leeds to United, to come off the back of having all those eyes on you from Leeds to United, where everyone wanted him to fail, where it wasn't really like the newspapers back at the time. I know social media is different now, but the newspapers having, even back then, having like a young black defender being the most successful one, the eyes were on him from the get-go. So to come through that and to come through the things with the drug test, which are wholly unfair, and I think a lot of people would admit that now because people haven't been hit as badly as then, but to come through that and still become the linchpin of that team, to become the captain. And you mentioned the team he came into, you know, Laurent Blanc was 35 years old when he came in, Henning Berg was on the way out, Jaap Stam had to leave. We were comparing him to Jaap Stam and Ronnie Johnson and to Steve Bruce and Gary Pallister. He had Gary Neville next to him, like not as a right back, as a right centre back. Like this was the era he came in.
So you put Ferdinand number 1.
I put Ferdinand.
In your opinion, where would John Stones be, just out of interest?
I think he's top 5. To be honest, I need to think about it a bit more, but I'd probably say he's third. Second or third.
Right, and this is the thing. No, exactly. Exactly. No, exactly. Exactly.
He is.
Exactly. And this is the thing. This is the thing. When I first made this statement last week, people were screaming at me. I'm looking at a guy here who just agrees with me, and you're saying it's between 1 or 2.
I think more third. Terry, Ferdinand. No, Ferdinand, Terry, and him.
No, the first one.
No, Terry.
Hi, Brendan, Chelsea fan. First thing I want to say is your trim's looking immaculate.
Thank you very much. This morning I got it. Special for this shoot.
It's very sharp.
Yeah,
it's very sharp. So, I think you have that feeling about John Stones because you're a Man City fan, and with the success you've had in recent years, right? Kind of similar to Chelsea. You have seen someone like John Stones actually create such a legacy. You haven't seen many others do the same as he has in his position. But I don't even think he's the best England defender in the Premier League, quite frankly. We have John Terry. And for all his antics, cool. I know. Anyways, fantastic player. Leader, he's an absolute legend, right? And he's created such a legacy for Chelsea. He's comes from the side that conceded 15 goals in an entire Premier League season, right?
He only conceded 13 as well of those.
He himself only conceded 13.
Definitely.
Right? John Terry, for me, is at least top 3. John Stones, I would maybe put him in top 10. And that's being generous.
That's crazy.
That's being generous.
Crazy.
But I understand that John Stones has created such a legacy for Manchester City because he's come from the trebles winning side. He's won multiple.
But he's also
Premier League
created
titles.
a legacy for football. He's taught centre-backs who are grown up now. You go down to Hackney Marshes now and you will see way more centre-backs playing it out from the back, playing it out, trying to replicate the style of football that he brought into the Premier League than you will with John Stones.
Come on, man. Rio Ferdinand was doing that with us, with West
That's
Ham.
number one. You can make that statement that John Stones, people play at the back because of John Stones. Fine, cool. But then I disagree because it's been happening for many years before.
Not to that level.
Not to that level, fine. But it's been happening regardless, right? And if someone told me, this is coming from, let's say, a casual fan, right? Oh, what type of defenders play from the back, right? John Stones' names might come up, but many others will come up as well.
The Rio Ferdinand argument is one which I will probably consider, and it's something which I would say there is a 1-2. The John Terry argument is something which I'm just not willing to consider. John Terry is an unbelievable defender. His aerial ability, blocking tackles, absolutely exceptional. But to be a top defender when John Terry played, you have to have a completely different set of skills to be a top defender when John Stones plays. To be a top defender in a Jose Mourinho team means just putting your body on your line, being positionally astute, being good in the air. To be a good defender in a Pep Guardiola team means going and playing in midfield in the Champions League final and dribbling past more players ever in a Champions League final apart from Lionel Messi. No other defender can do that. No other defender can do that.
Brendan, do you want me to help you out here? Let's talk about John Stones a bit then.
Defo.
So he's done a lot, right?
My favourite topic.
How often has he been able to do it? Because he's got quite a significant injury
178
record.
Premier League goals for Manchester City. Games.
178 games?
Yeah.
Across how long?
Across a 9-year period.
Across 9 years?
Yeah.
Okay. But overall, that's about can someone do the maths for me on that?
About 50%.
About 23 games.
23 game season. John Terry was 36, I believe.
He played more.
In the 14-15 season, played every single game of the season. And by the way, did that in this whole period where you talk about players, only had to do certain things. John Terry was able to use both his feet. Have you seen that man ping a pass? It's unbelievable. That Chelsea team, which you're talking about with Mourinho, you give it massive discredit. Yes, it was defensively resolute, but my God, could they entertain when they wanted to. Not only that, but John Terry was part of a team with Carlo Ancelotti, which until, in fairness, Manchester City took the record, scored the most goals in a Premier League season. And he was a massive part of that as well as being the highest scoring defender in the Premier League's history.
Top defender.
So, overall, I appreciate what you're saying about John Stones, but he doesn't even touch the sides when it comes to Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, and Yapstam's a great shout as well.
Fucking hell.
There's some amazing defenders. But you're
Yapstam.
Also, all I'm saying, that was him who said it, in fairness. Overall, there are defenders which I think you're giving massive discredit to.
I'm not discrediting anyone.
But you're saying,
I'm just saying how good John Stones is. I'm not saying Rio Ferdinand shit. I'm not saying Terry shit. I just think John Stones is basically
John Stones cannot stay fit for a season.
Kid, as a child, when he was a youngster, he made basically 2 high-profile mistakes, one for Everton, one for England, And because it was flamboyant football and because our press is so fucking archaic, they latched onto it and for years and years and years just denigrated him no matter what his performance level was. So the average fan who thinks about John Stones thinks about, oh, we made a few mistakes there, always a bit flamboyant, always a bit weak. Watch his games. Watch his game against Liverpool in the 2018-2019 season where that game decided who won the league and he's sprinting back and he's clearing one off the goal line. That's a Premier League that he's single-handedly won for us.
There's something that we haven't even spoken about yet, which reinforces the point about what you're saying, right? We could talk about John Terry. We can talk about Rio Ferdinand. We've not mentioned Ledley King yet. Do you know we've not mentioned Ledley King? Because he was always injured. People will appreciate what he was as a centre-back. He was one of the best there ever was. He was spectacular. But people don't put him into a conversation.
Well, nothing.
Because, but also because he was always injured.
Yeah, and John Stones isn't always injured.
He's been injured the vast majority of the time.
I mean, statistically, it's not the vast majority of the time.
Statistically, in terms of someone you're saying can be up there, if you're someone, if you're saying, right, that somebody is so important as the best defender in Premier League history, availability is the best.
Fitness is the barometer, is it?
For me, it's a big part of it. It's not the only barometer, but it's a massive part of it. If you cannot stay fit, you can't even have that conversation. Which is a load of shite, right? So if Messi played 20 games a season, but Lee Cattermole plays them all,
no, then Lee Cattermole's the best. It's nonsense.
You're twisting what I'm saying.
No, that fitness is that availability is the best ability.
Availability is one of the best bits of ability.
It's not. It's not.
It's a massive part of it.
It's a big part of it. It's a big part of it. It's a big part. It's a big part of it.
It's a massive part of it.
It's a big part. I'm just not rattled. You can talk about injuries all you want, but in all of the big games and all of the big moments throughout Pep Guardiola's history at Manchester City, John Stones has been a part of them. That is a fact. So yes, he might spend November to February injured, but for those running where we win.
It's quite an extensive period.
Yeah, can I finish my sentence, or are you just going to jump down my throat?
No, go for it.
From February to May, when we win the league, John Stones is fit. That's all that matters. This season is an anomaly, and I'm not talking about this season. He's 31 years old, fine.
He's 31 and he's getting injured that regularly throughout his career. You've just gone, he's not available for this extended period. So hold on. A third of a season.
So hold on. The only thing that you've got to use is the fact that he's injury prone.
What's a massive...
Talk about his ability. Talk about his ability.
He's great. He's
second
fantastic.
To none.
He's fantastic. But if you're not available the vast majority of the time, or for your case, a third of a season, you can't be considered the greatest centre-back in Premier League's history when there are players that have been pivotal, not just in big games, in every single game.
I think if you played almost 200 games, you've got a decent stake to the claim.
In 10 years?
I mean, it doesn't matter how long you played. If we're talking about Premier League, I think 200 games is a decent amount.
20 games a season, it's not.
So the only barometer is the fact that he's injured.
It's a massive part.
Yeah. Well, come on.
My name's Clinton, Newcastle fan. You're lucky I'm not going to bring any Newcastle defenders to the table because then you would have been cooked. But I'm going to say this. Doesn't Vincent Kompany get into this conversation? Is he alive? Like, Vincent Kompany is by far your best defender of all time. Yeah. Of all time.
And that is why I know that I've got a good point, because that is just nostalgia talking. Vincent Kompany.
Nostalgia?
Vincent Kompany.
You owe him everything.
Let me finish.
And you got a statue of his name.
Recency bias.
Have you?
Vincent Kompany was insanely injury prone. You want to forget it now because he's
more
retired
injury prone
and
than
because
John
he's a
Stones.
manager.
More injury prone than John Stones.
Exactly the same.
No. What?
Exactly the same.
VAR check that. VAR check that right now. Pronto. Because Vincent Kompany, put some respect on his name. The guy, you owe him everything. You owe him your life.
You don't need to tell. You don't need to tell me.
Other than John Stones.
You don't need to tell me.
The only thing that you know John Stones about is that viral video with Raheem Sterling talking about the real General. General John Stones. That's the only thing he's known for.
Hold on.
He's not known for anything. He's known for a beer. I want to be a Jamaican. That's about it.
Hold on.
VAR check that.
You don't need to tell me to respect Vincent Kompany.
I know more about Man City defenders than you, and you're a Mancunian. Shame on you. Shame.
VAR then. Kompany was significantly more injury prone than Stones.
Off you go.
I ain't done yet. Virgil van Dijk.
I'm Gareth. I'm a QPR fan. My statement is the Championship as a product is better for fans than the Premier League.
Go on, Lou. Louis B. Dog.
I'm Louis, and I'm a Chelsea fan. Now, Gareth, I've known you for quite a long time. So before we get started, just so I can reinforce the point, can you take your hat off, please? That's what the Championship does to you. He's the same age as me. That is hideous.
I mean, going after my physical appearance because you haven't got any points to argue the actual point. I think
I do. I just need to get that off my chest. It's been a while. Yeah. So, irrespective, if we look at the Championship as a product for fans, can you expand on why you believe that?
Yeah. So I would say the first point is accessibility, being able to go and watch your team, and also knowing that it's going to be on Sky. You're not paying subscriptions for every other channel as well. You're guaranteed a certain amount of games on the telly. And you can just kind of feel like you belong to the club a bit more. You get fan forums where you are listened to. I feel like you're never more than kind of a few emails away from the club. You are valued. And yeah, I mean, accessibility is a massive thing for a football fan. I feel like in the Prem, certainly in recent years, the way it's going corporate wise, how hard is it, if you're an Arsenal fan, to go and watch a game alone? That is the product, is going to watch the football. It's not, what surrounds it.
Do you not feel as though with the product it also comes down to the atmosphere and other things like that? So, for example, I've been to QPR quite a few times. I can get tickets on the day very easily. There's a lot of empty seats. Whereas you go to Premier League games, you're always going to have some semblance of atmosphere. Whether that be good or bad, you're always going to have a pretty full stadium. I unfortunately can't argue the case of my club because my owners are awful. But there are other clubs within the Premier League who are very well run. Fans are looked after still. I think in terms of just West London as an example, I think Brentford fans are looked after quite well in terms of their community outreach as well, in terms of fan forums and stuff as well. You talked about always being on Sky. I mean, it's what the Premier League was founded on. It was founded on availability and people being able to watch it on Sky. On top of that as well, with the EFL said certain amount of games and there's not extras. Don't the EFL have products right now, at least they did, where you had to pay an extra £10 to watch games that could be behind the paywall on the EFL site?
I think that was the case, but Sky Red Button now you can watch any EFL game at the same time as one's being broadcast, so any 12:30 kickoff you're going to be able to watch.
Okay, interesting. Is it just the 12:30s? What about is there any the later games?
Well, any game that's on telly, anything that isn't a 3 o'clock blackout, cool. Yeah.
Any other reasons why you feel like that might be the case as to why the EFL's a better product for fans in the Premier League?
Yeah, competitiveness for a start as well. I think any team can beat any team, which is always nice. As a very much a mid-table fan, especially for the last decade, I relish the fact I can turn up and watch us get battered, or I can watch us batter someone. I mean, this year, for example, third game in, we lose 7-1 to Cov away. Coming to our place, you'd never have thought that we were going to nick 3 points off of them. Also, just the kind of scale of the performance you can watch. I think, if you were going to watch Man City, Arsenal this year every week, you kind of know what performance you're going to get, what you're expecting from the players. The Championship, everyone can have a moment. A winger that you could watch week in, week out and tear your hair out at is a hero the next minute. I think in the Prem, you get breakthrough stars, that happens. But the Championship, you just never know what's around the corner. It's mania, and that's entertainment, and that's what fans want at the end of the day. I think, creative flair is a lot more allowable in the Championship. You watch players like Grealish at City, just kind of that flame went out a bit, but you're not going to see that so much in the Championship because they know that football's about individual performances as much as the team.
But could you not argue in terms of the Premier League product? Oh, by the way, these are all valid points. I think the Championship is an excellent division. But do you not feel that with the Premier League, you said that anyone can beat anybody? That is the Premier League. And the fact that every team has a player of huge quality. If you compare that to 20 years ago, they'd be pooled into 4 or 5 teams, whereas now every single side probably has one player that everyone would sign. There's quality throughout the division, and teams can beat anyone at any day. I mean, look at Spurs right now. Spurs are at the bottom of the table, really fighting for their lives, and I think we're all happy about that. But at the end of the day, they're in a position which no one expected because of the certain players they have, but because they've been bettered by Sunderland, who came up from the Championship and have had an amazing season and are now fighting for Europe.
Yeah.
Could you not argue that the quality is there and that the money? I mean, talk to me. And then I'll go off because I'm sure the lads got other things to say. Talk to me about the trickle down. So surely the quality in the Championship is also thanks to a certain extent the Premier League, where parachute payments have allowed teams to pay more money for players which maybe they couldn't have afforded previously.
Yeah, I do get that. What I do think the kind of side effect of that is that you now have 6 or 7 teams that yo-yo between the Prem and the Championship, and no one enjoys watching. I don't know anyone that's this year that sat down and gone, yeah, I'll watch Burnley, because you know what, they're going down again next year. And when they come down, nobody sits down and think, yeah, I'll watch Burnley, because you know they're going up. It kind of, the trickle-down payments allow teams to be mediocre. I don't think they let them set the world alight. And what we love in the Championship is homegrown players coming through academies, you know, the loan players that the Prem players are sending down, and you're seeing that rawness be unearthed. You know, Hayden Hackney this year is unbelievable. You would never see that in the Prem because he wasn't going to get minutes. It's nice to have the opportunity. Eze, when he was at QPR, you know, you watch them burst through. And also, you know, look at Leicester this year. The trickle down doesn't always work.
It's true.
It's actually probably damaged them more than anything with a points deduction. You know, Luton, Huddersfield, it's not helped them in recent years. So, yeah, I mean, teams like Southampton, I think they're set up for sustainability, but that's because of years past. I don't think if Sunderland were to go down immediately, they'd be harmed by it, because they've had to spend the money to stay up in the Prem. So,
are you happy about them changing the playoff structure?
No. Hang on.
Sorry, but
wait.
If they're
raise the cards. Everyone raise cards. Raise cards. Right, Ben. Now it's your turn. There you go.
I'm not arguing against it. I agree with him. I'm not. No. I'm good.
Ask the question, Ben.
I agree with him, man. I agree with him.
There was a point you made which has got to be brought up.
Yeah.
If the Championship is a better product for fans, why do fans not go to the Championship games?
Yeah, so I mean, I think a large part of that, like the trickle down, is, you know, if you've come down, you've sat and you've suffered through a season that you don't necessarily want to sit through. Maybe you've become a bit against going to the club. I mean, you know, as a West Ham fan, if you go down this year, I imagine there's going to be a lot of fans in protest at the state of the club.
Fans in protest anyway.
But I imagine it will get worse and they'll stop going.
That's already happening.
Yeah. I don't think it's solely down to being in a Championship. I think, especially for clubs coming down that have to recoup some money and keep the ticket prices similar to what they are in the Prem.
There's no cap on away tickets in the Championship either. People have taken 60 quid tickets.
Well, yeah.
So you're in the Premier League, that is towards the fans, £30 ticket. I'll go to every away game for West Ham, and I've paid no more than £30. You could pay up to £60 to go and watch Rotherham.
Well, they're down to League 2 now, so not Rotherham. But yeah, I take your point. I do take your point. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
So that's not directed at fans, though, is it? That's not. I mean, this is a fan-led Premier League initiative. How is that looking after your fans if they're asking you to pay more?
Yeah,
that's asking you to look after them. Because they can't get the people in the gate.
Yeah, I'll concede that. I can't argue with that.
Get off them.
Yes! That's my first one.
So that was Midnite Boxed In. Let us know in the comments below who you guys think won the argument. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and hype the video. We'll see you next time, guys. Fucking hell.